Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. Here's one of the reasons you shouldn't rely on social media when you're looking to get your sports news. Everybody's looking to be first to report rather than be first to be accurate. Ohio State's Chase Young received a 2-game suspension from the NCAA for that illegal loan that he received from a family friend. The assumption was that it was going to be cut from 4 games down to 2, mainly because that's the way Kirk Herbstreit reported it. It made sense. Herbie has a million sources in Columbus, even though he doesn't live there anymore. But he was wrong. He said 4 games, and a lot of people jumped all over it. Anyway, Chase Young won't be needed to beat Rutgers this week. That'll be a 40 or 50-point win either way. Then it's on to a game at Columbus versus Penn State, and then Michigan. Just figure he's got some extra rest coming around the bye week. He needs it to be rested up for that championship run for Ohio State, which is going to begin in about a week and a half. The D-man Dennis-Manoloff is here. More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year, and as always, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-man, Dennis-Manoloff, is here. You getting hot in your picks lately?
Well, I was 3-1 the first 2 go-arounds with Dave Bacon, but 2-2 this past week. But I did overall, though. That's the thing. 2-2 with Dave,
right?
But 9-4. A season high 5 games over 500,
so
picking all of them.
All right, so you're warmed up now. I can now make my wagers based on what you say.
Yeah. No. Entertainment purposes only for a reason. It's still incredibly difficult, as you know, Les, against the spread in the NFL. And here's the problem. When you have a good week, you can't celebrate it.
No, because next week's coming.
Yeah, you know that the hammer's coming around the corner.
Or Thursday night's coming.
Yeah, there's no time to celebrate. There's plenty of time to ruminate over bad weeks, but there's no time to celebrate good weeks because you always know the bad week is coming.
Somebody told me a couple of weeks ago, and I hadn't thought about it like this, not for wagering purposes, but the NFL is a different league almost every week.
Yeah.
You can't go by teams doing what they did last week and say, well, they'll do that again.
Well, Les, think of this. 2 of my wins this past week, week 10, I had the Atlanta Falcons plus 13.5 at New Orleans.
Right.
And New Orleans, and the Falcons outright beat them 26-9. And I had the Dolphins plus 10.5 at Indianapolis, and the Dolphins outright beat the Colts.
Yeah, but you know teams aren't going to run the table positively or negatively. You just don't know when that break is going to come.
Yeah. And each week it seems like there's an unstoppable team, and then that team falls off. Think of the Packers. Then they go to the Chargers and get beat.
Right.
Think of the Patriots. The Ravens run all over them. Now it's the Ravens that are the unstoppable force, even though the Browns went into Baltimore in week 4
that's
and
ancient.
pumped them.
That's ancient history.
It certainly feels that way. But it's hard to believe that the Browns did that to a team in the Ravens that is so hot right now.
216-575-0403. All right, we're talking the NFL, but let's turn our attention a little bit to the college scene, and that, of course, Chase Young. And the word comes down, as I mentioned in the opening, that it'll be a total of a 2-game suspension, and that means he will have missed Maryland and Rutgers.
A couple of byes.
That's a little rest.
Yeah, it actually works out perfectly for Ohio State. Young comes back. Not that he needed a breather, because he was in the midst of a Heisman campaign, if you can believe that, for a defensive player.
That's over now.
Yeah. I think it's too much to overcome. I mean, he had long odds to begin with because he was a defensive player, but he was overcoming those odds with his sheer dominance.
Right.
But honestly, though, I think the rest for Young, he'll come back with even fresher legs. He'll be dominant as usual. And this Buckeyes team, Les, under Ryan Day, I mean, you want to talk about businesslike and vicious. I mean, they are just nasty. Ryan Day was talking about in the Maryland game, after the Maryland game, he was saying, our defensive players got tired of hearing about how close Maryland made it last year. I mean,
well,
Ryan Day
They should have won that game.
Right. Ryan Day is cold-blooded. He wants to beat you badly. He doesn't want to embarrass you, but he wants to beat you badly. And he'll do it within the confines of, good sportsmanship. The problem last Saturday, because what was it, 73-14 or something like that? Maryland just, either didn't show up or quit or any combination of both.
They're just not very good.
Right, but they also, they lost their will to compete, and that's not Ryan Day's fault.
No, it isn't. No question about that. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Email us during the show at real-levine@gmail.com. All right, after that game, of course, LSU wins their game against Alabama, and Ohio State just rolls over Maryland. So I'm not surprised the latest rankings came out with Ohio State number 2, LSU number 1, but that's going to change as long as Ohio State keeps winning because LSU has nobody left to beat. So it seems to me that Ohio State will be number 1 after next week. Here you have it, LSU number 1, Ohio State follows. Clemson is moved up to 3rd. Georgia's still hanging in. They're number 4. Alabama at 5, Oregon at 6. Then you get going with Utah, Minnesota, Penn State, and Oklahoma. How about Minnesota number 8? I'm not sure if they're for real yet, though.
Well, they were 17. They jumped to 8 by beating Penn State, which fell from 4 to 9. My only quibble with the second installment of the CFP rankings is Georgia at 4. To me, it should be Alabama. In my mind, if Alabama plays Georgia right now, they beat them by double digits, even with Tua at 70%. So
that's a good point.
I don't buy Georgia as the 4th best team, and I think that will change by the end of the season.
216-575-0403. We have a Facebook question of the day, and that is, did college football get it right in ranking LSU number 1? What do you think? Did they get it right?
I do, yeah.
Glenn Berger says yes. The impressive win over number 1 Alabama number 3 Alabama was much bigger than Ohio State's 59-point win over hapless Maryland. We continue on, and Rick May, I'm sure in their mind they did. Undefeated SEC team beats Alabama. We'll see. SEC championship game could create chaos as to who makes the Final Four. Then we go to Jay Slagle. Hard to deny LSU with their win over Bama, and a power ranking victory has a lot of weight, carries a lot of weight. We continue on, and we'll see. That's it. I think it'll change next week, and I think if Ohio State wins, even though it would be over a hapless Rutgers team, I think they'll take over the top spot. Right now, it's a short-lived top spot. They got there in the opening segment or the opening balloting, but it changed after the second week.
I think it's going to be very difficult to dislodge in any combination LSU, Ohio State, and Clemson.
We got the stat of the month.
4.
Did you know there are over 238,000 winners on the Ohio scratch-off games every day? With that amount of winning, stop by your local retailer and try your luck on any of the popular holiday-themed scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery. Facebook question of the day. We've got a new one each and every day. Go to facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. D-Man Dennis-Manoloff is with us. We'll talk Cleveland Browns when we get back. If you want to join in, do that right now at the number you see at the bottom of your screen. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had 2 choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C, they transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
You know, it wasn't one guy, you know, all 8 plays, but, you know, someone was getting beat at the point of attack pretty much, you know, every play. Then, you know, I think Odell probably could have had a couple catches if they wouldn't have, you know, got PI, but it was smart by them, put it back on the 1-yard line. We just got to find a way to get the ball in the end zone. You know, you have that many chances. It's, you know, one-on-one block, and you got to win, you know, give them enough room because, you know, you got to give Chubb enough space to get in the end zone, no matter what play's called, no matter what happens, and we didn't.
This is Joel-Bitonio. This is Red Zone scoring touchdowns only. 2019 season, 46.7%. 26th in the NFL. Last 3 games, 30%. 30th in the NFL. And the 2018 season, 2/3 of the time they scored 6th in the NFL. How do you explain that red zone or lack thereof?
A part of it, I think, is lack of laser focus by Kitchens on play calling. The fact that he's got so much going on as head coach in addition to calling the plays. But I'm going to say this, Les. It is too easy in general to blame the coach for everything that goes wrong with the team. And specifically with this team, with the Browns of 2019, I'm hearing way too much, it's Kitchens, it's Kitchens, it's Kitchens, it's Kitchens. At some point, the players are responsible for not getting a yard or 2 yards at the goal line. At some point, the offensive linemen need to move bodies back a couple of yards.
I wouldn't say with 8 misses in a row that what
It's
I'm
all
about
coaching.
to say. It's not all coaching if that happens that often, but there have been some strange play calls there.
I'm not going to deny that.
I think you got to take that shovel pass inside the 10-yard line and junk it. Don't use it again. There's no. The only reason to use it is that if it doesn't work, you could say, well, it was not a fumble. It was an incompleted pass. If that's the only good thing you can say about it, that's not real good.
Yeah, I don't want to be misconstrued that I'm letting Kitchens off the hook, or that, do I think he has it anywhere close to figured out yet? Of course he doesn't. He's got issues, but again, I think it's bad to use coaching as a crutch all the time. Just as I don't like hearing, oh, it's the officials. Once in a while, you might want to be accountable for your own play.
I don't think the officials stayed on the plays last week. I think there might have been a memo saying, don't blow the whistle every time there's mere contact.
If that were the case, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because I have noticed that around the league, Les, in recent weeks. Officials are letting plays go, and that's a good thing because you see with replay that sometimes they're correct to do it.
I think I know why the Browns have trouble in the red zone. Red zone is 20 and in, right? You've been to the
rename it.
You've been out to the Browns facility a million times, right? You've been in the field house,
yes.
Right? You know how long that field is? 80 yards. That's 20 yards they don't practice on.
There you go. Great call.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Were you a little wary of what was going to happen with Kareem-Hunt and Nick-Chubb, and after what happened last week, did that change your mind if it needed to be changed? How they were going to use them?
I was pleasantly surprised at how the coaching staff, led by Freddie-Kitchens, integrated Kareem-Hunt into the game.
Who, by the way, made some great blocks.
Yeah, I mean, it was a combination of blocks, pass receptions, and rushes. You didn't overuse him to the point where he pulled a hamstring because you were so eager to play him after he had been off for basically a year. So I thought the coaching staff deserved credit for how they, again, integrated him into the NFL after a year off. And I think it's only going to increase his touches as he now has a week under him of the actual game, and even though it's a short week. But I don't think it's going to be an issue with Hunt and Chubb because they know that Chubb is their number one guy, but they also recognize that Chubb, it's getting later in the year, and he could use a break here and there.
Although he plays better the more he wears down the other team, I think.
True enough, but second half of the season, it stands to reason a running back is, could use a break here and there. But also, Hunt, in this offense, for this time period, because he's, he hadn't been here for a half a year, is a Swiss Army knife type. You can have him as a second back. You can have him as an H-back. You can have him as a slot receiver. So I think he will serve a variety of roles and do them eagerly.
Do you think this team has turned itself around?
No, I won't be willing to say that until I see them beat the Steelers. If they beat the Steelers, then I will start believing that they're capable of a run. Now
it's so set up to be able to beat them. Roethlisberger isn't there. You're at home. It's a Thursday night, little rest and travel for Pittsburgh. Cleveland is home already.
Yeah, and here's the thing that Les, I know the Browns are still bad, based on their record, 3-6, but they need to remind themselves that Ben Roethlisberger is not playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that Mason Rudolph is. Not trying to disrespect Rudolph.
No, but he's not Ben.
You have to say to yourselves, if you're the Browns, there is a drop-off. When Roethlisberger played the Browns, there was an intimidation factor.
Yep.
You knew you were in for trouble. Rudolph shouldn't get that benefit of the doubt. Another thing, as you mentioned, the Browns are home. You say, well, what's the big deal? It's Pittsburgh to Cleveland, Cleveland to Pittsburgh travel, no big deal. It's enough of a deal. And you're at home in prime time. The Steelers played a later game than you did on Sunday. So for whatever that's worth, you got a few more hours rest than they did. They're not invincible. Yeah, they've won 4 in a row, but you can't look. And I hear all this talk about how great the Steelers' defense is. Yes, the Steelers' defense looks really good right now, but they're not invincible. And I mentioned in the pre-show meeting, think back to last year, Steelers in Cleveland with Roethlisberger. Hugh Jackson tied them.
Yeah.
So to me, if Hugh Jackson could tie the Steelers here, why can't the Browns win?
Somebody should beat them.
Why can't they beat them with Mason Rudolph?
575-0403, Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations, east, west, and now south. West 140th, as well as Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and the Freeway Drive location in Macedonia. But before you go anywhere, go to northeastfactorydirect.com. Just 3 huge bare-bone warehouses. How do they save you money? They get charged about 10% the rent that the big box stores get. Bottom line is nobody's going to touch their everyday savings or their quality. Check them out, but before you go anywhere, go to northeastfactorydirect.com. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 6 p.m. is the post time, and Saturday and Sunday, 6:40 is your post time. You got a chance to win a contest every Sunday. The big prize there, $500 in cash. That's at Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. We'll come back. We'll look at Nick-Chubb and Kareem-Hunt. D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff with us. The line is open if you'd like to get in at 216-575-0403. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
National Holidays expert Mary here with a list of holidays you won't want to miss. Get your Ohio Lottery Merry Million scratch-offs for National Donut Day, National Have a Party with Your Bear Day, Pickle Day, National Unique Talent Day, Take a Hike Day, and America's favorite, National Jukebox Day. Every day is a reason to celebrate. Grab a Merry Millions and other Ohio Lottery holiday scratch-offs today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
I feel like, it's a lot more to go. We got to build off that and, get our bodies together and get ready to go back out there and compete hard again on Thursday night.
Do you have to get used to kind of playing with each other, especially when you're both on the field? Is there an adjustment?
I mean, not really. We both love the game of football, so football is football out there, and whatever we can do to help each other out on each play, that's what we're going to do. Honestly, whatever they call, but anytime I'm a part of the game plan, I'm just going to do whatever I can to, make the most out the play.
You and Freddie talked about how you and Nick are unselfish players. You're willing to do anything to win games. That obviously showed up on Sunday, the way you were blocking. Is that something that is a little bit underrated? Because when people talk about you, they talk about how you catch passes and how explosive you are in the run game. But you think that your blocking is something that just doesn't maybe get enough love? Yeah,
honestly, I'm always the guy carrying the ball usually, so I didn't really get too many opportunities to go lead block. But it's just about, heart and the love for the game that I have. And, I'm a guy who take everything personal out there. And if I miss my block, I'm going to be angry at myself for that. So I just take it, to heart each and every play and try to keep those guys off Nick.
He brings a lot of energy and a lot of fire, and he's very intense. And, it was great to come out there and playing with him, having fun. I felt like we were, just kids in the backyard playing ball with each other. So, it was great.
What does it say about Kareem for him to be so unwilling or so unselfish and willing to block? And what's that like to have him leading you through the whole game?
That shows the type of person he is, man. He knew the game plan the whole week. The whole game plan was he's going to be mostly lead blocking for me, and he didn't complain. He didn't say anything. He understood what it was, and he went out there and, he just did whatever he was asked. He had fun doing it. It shows the character of him and just a great person he is. And, he's still just the same guy. He just wants to go out there, get on the field any way he can, and look at him, impact his team in a positive way.
Did you know he would be such an effective blocker?
Yeah, I trusted him. I had an idea he'd be pretty good. He's very physical, so.
What kind of confusion do you think that could create for defenses? When either one of you guys can get the ball?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Just they don't know who's getting the ball and which way we're going, because we both can get it at any time. I think it just kind of confuses those guys on not really knowing where the ball will end up going.
Well, there you have Nick-Chubb and Kareem-Hunt. Dual threat Sunday versus the Bills. Chubb with 20 carries, 116 yards, 2 receptions, and 5 yards receiving. And for Hunt, it was 4 carries and 30 yards rushing, 7 receptions, and 44 yards in receiving. Pretty impressive. I thought the blocking was terrific.
And that's true, unless you're getting a highly motivated Hunt. Because even if he doesn't stick with the Browns, he wants to audition for another team after this season. You've got versatility with those two guys. Talent, obviously. But here's the key with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has a great front. They love to blitz and zone blitz. You have to be able to dink and dunk them. You cannot expect to take 5- and 7-step drops and beat them deep. So, in order to dink and dunk, you want to utilize Chubb and Hunt as much as possible. You can't get away from that. So I'm glad that Kareem-Hunt is available for this game.
But you also have to somehow take care of Beckham, too. He can't go through this season with only one touchdown catch.
That's true, but I wouldn't, if I were the Browns, try to force-feed Beckham against Pittsburgh. I think that's a mistake. Maybe you want to force-feed him against some other team, but I wouldn't do it against the Steelers because then you'll run into trouble. That team is great at deflections. It's very physical.
Don't you see Beckham just tearing apart
the Bengals?
No, Pittsburgh. I mean,
honestly, I don't, because I don't trust Mayfield to have a clean enough pocket in the time that it takes for Odell to go deep.
But shouldn't he beat Joe Hayden?
If Hayden plays. He's been added to the injury report with an illness. But, I don't know who's going to have Beckham. But, you would think Beckham should get open. And I've been confused with how they've used Beckham this year. And I don't know how much of it is Beckham not knowing the playbook, or if, in fact, he doesn't, or is he running the wrong routes? Is it Baker's confidence? I don't know what the combination is, but it's been an awkward partnership so far.
All right, so in an ideal game, what do you see? You see the two running backs maybe getting 200 yards between the two of them? Is that an ideal thing?
Combined total yardage, if I'm the Browns, I need 120-ish from Chubb. I'm being realistic here because the Steelers are not an easy mark. But I need 200 total yards, realistically.
And whatever happens, that'll
combined from those two guys.
And that'll burn up the clock.
Well, you would think, and move the chains, eat up the clock. Don't turn the ball over. You don't have to get conservative per se, but you can't afford to get greedy and think that you're gonna throw the bomb. All of a sudden you get sacked. Now it's 2nd and 23 at your 10.
There's no play for a 2nd and 23.
Right, you got to somehow avoid that. But as I said, I just got done saying the Browns shouldn't be intimidated by the Steelers. Now I'm talking like they should be. If you're the Browns coaching staff, you say to the players, hey, we love our offense, we love our defense, equally so, right? But in this game, our defense really should carry the day. This defense should be able to dictate the terms to Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, without Ben in there, you're absolutely correct.
Even without Olivier Vernon on the D line, right. I want to see this defensive front cause havoc for Mason Rudolph.
On the other hand, have you seen an improvement in Baker-Mayfield? The numbers have been good the last two of the three games.
The Bills game, I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah,
I thought it was his second best game of the season behind the Baltimore game. Regardless of what the numbers might have said from the Jets game or what have you, I almost don't count the Jets game. He's still shaky to me. But the Bills game was a step in the right direction, and he can go a long way toward, assuaging some more of my fears by playing well against Pittsburgh.
You talked about the Jets. The owner announced today that they are keeping Adam Gase despite some people calling for his job, but they've given him another year.
Well, this is Belichick just sits back and he's like, you know what? Why should I ever retire when I play in a division with the Jets, the Bills,
I can win 12
Dolphins?
games as long as the bus is on time, right?
This guy has a guaranteed AFC East title every year.
Yep. And
halfway, or what, 6 out of 16, so what is that, 40% or something?
Those are wins within the division.
The guy's on his way just by virtue of that horrible division to claiming one of the top 2 seeds in the conference and a bye in the first round.
Explore your interests and find a program that puts you on the right path to success and a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. When we come back, We'll listen in as Mike Tomlin talks about the Cleveland Browns as they get set for the big game tomorrow night down at First Energy Stadium. Back in a moment with Dennis-Manoloff, exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Got a lot of respect for those guys. They got talent in all areas. You know, with the acquisition and recent use of Hunt, man, their backfield tandem with he and Nick-Chubb is going to be a big challenge. And I think if you're talking about their offense, man, we better start there. Chubb's almost got 1,000 yards on the season. If you don't slow him down, you know, there's no need to talk about the wide receiver tandem and things you need to do to minimize their impact on the game. All you got to do is look at the Baltimore tape to have an understanding of that. We better minimize the running game and what that guy brings and what Hunt potentially brings, and not only those guys individually, but increasingly so of late, the use of both of them. And looking at the Buffalo tape with both of those guys employed in the game at the same time is particularly challenging, and I would imagine as Hunt is more available to him, that package is going to continue to grow. We're going to have to defend some things in that package this week that we didn't even see on Buffalo tape, but such is life, so we got some work ahead of us there. Landry and Beckham, they're you know, from a talent standpoint, there's no tandem that approaches those guys. They're impactful. Both guys are the type of guys that merit the type of attention that we gave Cooper Kupp last week, but, you know, shoot, you can't provide that for both guys and work to minimize Nick-Chubb in the run game and so forth. So we gotta pick our poison, if you will. We got some tough decisions to make, not only just globally, but in-game and situationally in terms of the things that we do to work to minimize their many weapons. And couple that with the fact that they got Baker-Mayfield behind the center, we got some challenges in terms of minimizing them, particularly in their environment. Where they get an opportunity to communicate and use cadence as a weapon and do all the things that offenses do in a home environment. So we got some work there. On the other side of the ball, they got talent at every level. Obviously, Myles Garrett is where you start. Top draft pick and 10-sack man. They move him around up front. We got to do a great job of not only protecting, but we also better do a really good job of making quick decisions and getting the ball out on rhythm. That's complicated because they got some really talented guys on the back end. Guys like Ward and Greedy Williams, man, are first-round type talents, obviously first-round players and graded as such. And, you know, they're capable of staying really close. They're good in man-to-man coverage. They're using a lot of guys at safety, some veteran guys, Morgan Burnett, Randall, are very versatile. They're capable of playing in deep defense. Both guys are capable of spinning down into the box and be it zone or man. They just got a lot of flexibility in that secondary. And so that makes that process of making quick reads and distributing the ball quickly before the sand runs through the hourglass with guys like Myles Garrett hunting you up front, a troublesome thing.
Hold on. This portion of More Sports and Les-Levine brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. Okay, we've heard and seen Mike Tomlin 2 times a year for as long as he's been here.
Let me preface that by saying I love Mike Tomlin. I wish he were the coach of the Cleveland Browns.
This is the first time you listen to him, and he sounds legitimately concerned about playing the Cleveland Browns, which we haven't seen in how many years?
He spoke of the Browns as if the Browns were undefeated and had a guaranteed all-pro at every single position.
72 Dolphins.
In other words, he was doing his best Lou Holtz impression. Holtz, who loved to pump up the other team, and then he would go tell his team, hey, that team's overrated. Who overrated him, Lou? Oh, I did. I mean, come on, Mike. We know the record of the Browns is 3-6, but I mean, I love
You know what?
Tomlin.
He also has to move over and take his notes and say, now, what do I have to say here?
Yeah, he probably had his crib notes. And in one sense, though, it is kind of indicting when he mentions all the talent and you say, okay, assuming he believes what he says, why are they 3-6?
Well, he also brought up the term home environment. What does home environment mean to you? Because I think it means something different to you.
Family room with the fireplace and a remote?
Yeah, no, I think it means something different to you and I as it does to Baker Mayfield. Because I don't think I've ever heard a quarterback, the home field advantage is all about noise. And if you don't want noise in there because it's so intricate, have your right guard or left tackle come up from a stance and wave the crowd down a little bit.
Yeah. Listen, I wouldn't have picked that hill to fight on if I were Bake, especially now that the rest of the league gets indication of that. So they'll bring, when they're visitors, they'll bring their fans in and make nothing but noise.
And by the way, many of the fans were Buffalo Bills fans.
Yeah, and that was part of the problem. But listen, I have no issues with Mayfield and his histrionics, his commercials, his shaving, as long as he plays well. When he doesn't play well, all bets are off.
D-Man, Paul and Finley writes in, he says, Les, it seems like the defense is getting too much of a free pass. They never make the critical stop. Even in the Bills game, part of the critical stop was a missed field goal. Also, there was a disappointing lack of pass rush. Agree or disagree?
Well, a little bit. I mean, yeah, I was expecting the defense to really be stout, especially when they started the season the way they did. When the defensive unit started the season the way it did. But it's been disappointing, giving up drives at inopportune times. I honestly, I want to see Myles Garrett. And remember what Greg Williams was saying? He wants Myles to be a little more versatile, add a little more repertoire to his game. I think Williams wasn't just talking about sacks, about getting to the quarterback for a sack.
Right.
I think Williams is talking about, I want a disruptive force on the line along the lines of an Aaron Donald.
Yeah, just put some heat on the guy.
Or one of the Bosa brothers. Now, Williams couldn't have known what Nick was going to do.
Right.
But more than just sacking the quarterback, I want the Steelers defense to see 95 everywhere.
Yeah.
Steelers offense. I want them to see Myles Garrett all over the place.
With Williams, and we saw him in the same spot for the most part.
Yeah, and I want to see him wrecking havoc in the run game in addition to the pass game.
Right now, go to any one of the 3 great locations for Northeast Factory Direct, and you're going to find 50 sofas at around $3.99 each. Solid wood bunk sets from $2.99. How about hot tubs? They've got them. One of the great samples that they have there comes for $3,800. That same hot tub sells all over the country for $7,000. That's how much you're going to save, because Alex pays about 1/10 the amount of rent as most of the big box stores. Located at West 140th Street, and also the B&B Appliance, the old B&B Appliance building, that of course in Lakeland Boulevard, and the new one, Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. But before you do anything, go to northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University, and there's no place better. I don't care what the weather is around here. Find a way to get yourself to Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn. Right there, if you can picture being at the back street there, you got the best view of downtown Cleveland if you're going there for dinner on Friday and Saturday nights. Of course, they're open every day for lunch. That's from 11 to 3. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn, Cleveland's oldest owned and operated restaurant in all of northeastern Ohio. We'll come back in a moment. We'll listen to some of your voicemails and more with Dennis Manoloff. More Sports and Les-levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downton Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downton Casino.
Come quickie, how come babysitters should get paid for an extra hour when they work when the clocks are changed? They're working for it, right? 216-575-0403. Let's take a look at this date in Les-levine history. Les, 1975, worked for an Akron radio station. He gets a haircut instead of going to lunch one day, and when he gets back, the owner of the station looks him over and says, well, it grew on company time. He was right. Absolutely right. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Birmingham, Alabama. Brendan standing by. Hello, Brendan.
Hey, Les and D-Man, how's it going?
We're doing well. How about you?
Doing all right. It's great to finally be able to watch your show again. You know, the Browns have been so bad for the past month. You know, I couldn't stand to
now you're back.
Watch the show, so I'm happy
you've come out of
to be back and
you've come out of the woodwork to find us. Yeah. So what are you thinking about this team and what they're doing right now?
I'm just struggling to think if they can make the playoffs this year. You know, I mean, there's still a slim chance.
How about one win at a time?
One win at a time, you know, but it just, I don't know. I think if we win one game, then, you know, we could build some momentum and,
D-Man,
maybe turn into a miracle,
Does 10-6 get you to the postseason?
I believe 10-6 will, yeah. But, I mean, you're asking them to win the rest of their games when they started 2-6. That's too tall of an order. I think 9-7 is a slim possibility, but as far as getting in,
right?
10-6, I think you're in.
Okay.
As a wild card.
But you know, this back end of the schedule looked pretty easy a couple of weeks ago. Doesn't look as easy as it did. I mean, Miami's winning some games now. Didn't expect that. Who thought that was going to happen?
The Cardinals look a lot better than I would have hoped.
Yeah.
You know, their offense is pretty decent now under Kingsbury and Murray.
Yeah.
Well, it's better than talking about the draft, you know. At least we can talk about playoffs a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I think I'll put a moratorium on draft talk. Brendan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it very much. From Birmingham, Birmingham,
evening.
Alabama. You too.
Yeah, I'm with Brendan, though. I want to keep this season alive, Les.
As long as we can.
I don't want to punt and say, oh, we'll be ready to go in 2020. No. Keep this season as relevant as possible for as long as possible.
Isn't it
please.
amazing the difference winning and losing from the fans' point of view and as they get ready for the next game? Here you're playing on a Thursday after a win. People don't seem to care, but they're going to be watching with a different light, I would think.
Yeah, and here's the thing, Les. Because, to your point, 2-7, you're done. And now you sell your ducats, you sell your tickets to the Steelers fans. At 3-6, you look down the road, you say maybe, just maybe. Hold on to your tickets. Don't sell them to Steelers fans. Keep that place hopping at night. Maybe defy Baker a little bit and be loud while the Browns have the ball. But have a home field advantage worthy of a primetime game.
Let's go to the voicemail of Truth and Reason. We'll go to Bill, who's in Santa Clara, California. Hey, Bill.
Hi, Les. It's Bill from Santa Clara. Talked to you guys before. Question about a guy on the IR, Drew Stanton. Is he in the building and on the sidelines helping Mayfield? Or is he just, gone?
Taking the check. I haven't seen him on the sideline. Have you?
Go Browns.
I'm sorry.
Drew Stanton, the backup quarterback. I haven't seen him on the field.
The only guy I've seen is Gilbert.
Yeah.
So I don't know what Stanton's up to.
I know he's in the quarterback room in Berea because they keep praising him for how well he communicates. I do know that. Yeah. Let's continue on. We'll go to the next voicemail of Truth and Reason. That would be Ron Byer. Hello, Ron.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. Hey, Les, Freddie-Kitchens keeps preaching one game at a time. So I hope he puts his actions to what he preaches. We're playing the Steelers at home, so take advantage of that fact. Go to your two running backs with straight-ahead power running. This will get the line involved in a positive way. Also incorporate quick passes off of this running game. This will get the rest of the team as well as the fan base fired up, and great results will happen.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. You agree with that?
For the most part, yes. Against the Steelers, I don't think it is advisable. Based on what I've seen from the Steelers since '99, it is not advisable to run wide against them. You need to have success between the tackles. They have too much speed and too much aggressiveness. They're going to run you down if you try to play you try to go the stretch route. So you have to be able to play within the seams.
All right, so we're talking about Pittsburgh because that's who you're playing this week. But if you're a defensive coordinator, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, or whoever the Browns are going to be playing, what do you do? If you got the double backfield and you got the double wide receivers, and what do you do? Who do you stop in that case? Or who do you aim at stopping?
Yeah, I mean, I really believe that as much as I like Hollywood Higgins, I think that he should be a rare commodity on Thursday night. And, of course, I don't want to see Callaway hit the field. The best chance the Browns have, in my opinion, is the combination of Hunt and Chubb, or Chubb and Hunt, Beckham and Landry, and one tight end. That as your 5 skill position players, and in addition to Baker being the 6th. That, to me, is your best bet. Not even the 1 running back, 2 tight end formation. I'd rather go with the 2 running backs, 1 tight end.
All right, well, you're picking your games this week. Where are you picking the Browns and Steelers? Got an early game.
I'm picking the Browns to win. You could say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
What are they getting? How many points?
They're laying 2.5. Unfortunately, they're laying 2.5. I was hoping I'd get them as a home dog. Vegas is still buying that the Browns have a lot of talent and that the Steelers have Mason Rudolph because otherwise the Steelers having won 4 in a row would have been the favorite. But they're not. So why don't the Browns look at that too and say, gee, Vegas says we're the favorite. Why can't we act like it?
216-575-0403. If you want to get in for the last segment of the show, you can do that. We had voicemails of Truth and Reason from Bill in Santa Clara and Ron in Fremont. You can be part of the More Sports and Les-levine voicemail of Truth and Reason. Call us anytime. We do the show live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time, so don't call then to get on the voicemail. But 216-200-6650 is the number to call. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. They've got live racing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 6 p.m. with the post time, 6:40 Saturday and Sunday, all from Northfield Park, where it's free admission, free parking every day. And of course, the Sunday contest features Belmont, and you can get in on that and win the grand prize, $500 in cash each and every week. We'll be back one more time with Dennis-Manoloff. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
We had a horrible storm that flooded our basement.
We had to take out that nasty moldy carpet.
And we never want to have to go through that again. That's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of November and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturesstone.com. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Dave Bacon will join me. We'll talk right up to, almost up to the Browns game. Your last chance to talk Cleveland Browns football against Pittsburgh. That'll be tomorrow. You see us live 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you can archive us at any time on cleveland.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine, with new content posted each and every day. This from Tom.
You got birthdays?
Birthdays today.
Yeah.
Mel Stottlemyre. He's a good pitcher. Better than his son. Walter Johnson, former... no, this is a football player.
Yeah,
this is the Browns' defensive tackle.
Yeah.
LSU, 1947. Vinny Testaverde, seen on the left. I never met a world peace I didn't like. Asdrubal Cabrera, still playing ball.
Winning World Series.
This day in sports history brought to you by Smiley One. Ray Boom Boom Mancini of Youngstown beats Dooku Kim in 14 rounds. Kim dies 4 days later in a Las Vegas hospital. What a horrible story that turned out to be. Now let's look at Tom Randazzo. Les, the identity the Browns have been searching for could be here if Freddie will allow it with the two running backs that we now have, and we need to adopt a run-first physical mentality that'll eventually lead to some better opportunities in the passing game. But I don't think it's in Freddie's DNA to go that route. We'll just continue to get the ball to the OBJ mantra. Agree or disagree?
Against the Steelers, I hope they do lean on the power game.
This from Ellie. No, this is about Ellie. This is from Ken in Defiance. Les, it was great to hear Ellie the other night. A suggestion, why not have call Ellie the nights Paul Hines is on? It's a good idea.
Oh, Ellie was back?
She called back, yeah. She
Good.
said she had some health issues, but she's doing all right right now.
Good to know it. Good to know, Ellie.
Time for some How Come Quickies. D-Man, you ready to judge them?
Yes.
Natalie, how come more sporks with Les Levine is neither a spoon nor a fork? You know what a spork is? You go on a picnic, the little utensils. You have to think too much,
6.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Budshaw hates to think. He just wants it to hit him. Let's look at this one from Big Ed. How come no one has ever been in an empty room? It's true. It's sort of, what is that?
8.
That's sort of like, how come you can't mention the elephant in the crowded room? Big Ed wants to know, how come paramedics in Rome don't refer to IVs as 4s? Little Roman numeral action there. You like it?
That one was over my head for a couple of seconds.
Then it hit you.
7.5.
I wonder where Mr. Gullible is tonight. Didn't get anything from him tonight. We did from John Patrick. Hi, Les and Dennis. How come it's not an optical illusion? It just looks like one.
9. That was good.
You know, these
I'm
guys.
looking at some old Gullibles that were good. I
Yeah.
hadn't heard them.
These guys, they go in. It's like a hitting streak or a winning streak. You know, they're hot, then they rest up a little bit for a couple games. Maybe we have to know when to sit them. Get Terry Francona to teach me how to do that. All right, you got a game coming up. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. First of all, the atmosphere should be tremendous tomorrow night. It reminds me, although the Browns were really good then and Pittsburgh wasn't, it reminds me of the 60s when Pittsburgh would come in on Saturday nights and they'd all come out comatose on the way back to their bus. The fans I'm talking about, not the players. Just an opportunity for them to get smashed on any given Saturday night in Cleveland. The difference is they got good after that when Chuck Noll came along, and all of a sudden it wasn't so much fun playing him anymore.
Agreed. It's going to be a tough game. There's no question about it. But I sincerely hope that First Energy Stadium is a legitimate home field advantage. The Browns can help that by staying, competitive, if not leading, because the last thing you want to do is fall behind 14-0, and here we go Steelers.
Not this team.
Right. But as I said earlier in the show, it bears repeating over and over and over. If you remember nothing else, Cleveland Browns, remember, Roethlisberger is out and Mason Rudolph is in.
Different Pittsburgh
There has to be a drop-off from Roethlisberger to Rudolph. No, again, not disrespecting Rudolph, maybe a little.
No, but he's not Ben.
He's not Ben. So that intimidation factor, that resume that Roethlisberger brought to the Cleveland Steelers matchup
12-2-1
is not there. He's a ghost. He'll be on the sideline, but he's a ghost.
All right.
Just worry about Rudolph and say, you know what? We can beat this guy.
All right, you were judging the How Come Quickies.
Yes.
On a 0 to 10 basis.
Yes.
What do you think of the beard? What number would you give the beard? You like the beard?
I love it. 9.
9.
And I'll give it a 10 next week when it's even more
when it
full.
grows in more?
It's even fuller.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too, Les.
Oh, the voice of God just popped in.
The voice of God. It makes you look a little less like Bob Baffert, though, because Baffert doesn't have a beard.
Yeah.
But it's your own distinct stubble, and it looks good.
Well, my own distinct stubble has a lot of stitches under here. But don't make me laugh, Les.
Okay.
Ow. All right, anything you want to add to the proceedings? Francisco-Lindor, they got the winter meetings going on. Antonetti is down there. Chernoff is down there. Do you think they'll be fielding any legitimate ones, or do you think it's just throwing names out?
If I'm the Indians,
For Francisco.
if I'm the Indians, I listen. You would be not doing your job if you didn't listen. But my sense is they're going to walk away because nothing that comes back at them is going to be worthy of Francisco Lindor in their minds.
All right.
Especially given that he's got 2 years left. If this were coming up on his final year, then you might see them pull the trigger on it, but not with 2 years left.
Okay, so here's what I think. Do you agree that Minnesota, which won, 101 games this year?
Yes.
Are they going to win 101 this year?
Not necessarily, but I give them respect that they
As
deserve.
the champ. All right.
As a champ that won 100.
All right, they're going to lose some starting pitching. So if I figure they're going to win 102, okay, which is a good year. Cleveland won 93. I don't mean 102. I mean 92. Cleveland, the Indians had 93 this year. Do you think that the Indians with Francisco Lindor are a better team than what we'll see from Minnesota next year? Because if you think that's correct, you've got to keep them and try to win a championship that year.
Let me give you 4 conditions to saying yes to that.
Okay.
Number 1, Kluber returns to form
and
remains an Indian, as I think he will, to prove that he's good to go. Number 2, Carrasco is a viable pitcher for you in some capacity, be it
out
starter
of the pen or
reliever.
Okay,
I would
one.
prefer back-end relief. They seem to think he's going to start.
Okay.
Number 3, addition of either a third baseman or a second baseman, depending on
Who they get?
The crop, depending on which one you like the best. And then if it's third base, you slide Ramirez to second. And the addition of an outfielder.
Any chance you go back after Kipnis?
2 players, well, only if everything falls through. And
on both sides.
Yeah, and Kipnis doesn't get a deal. My sense is Kipnis will get a deal, maybe 2 years for $12 million, maybe the White Sox. But you've got to you need Kluber and Carrasco to return to form.
Right.
And you need to import 2 bats. You cannot, in my opinion, Les, count on everybody being healthy, count on young guys emerging to fill these spots.
Would you go back and revisit Puig, who made about $9 million last year?
I suppose I would, but I do think, even though we think maybe he won't have a market, I think he has a market that's too rich for the Indians play.
All right, great job by the D-man, Dennis-Manoloff. You can hear him on WTAM 1100. When are you on next?
Tomorrow night from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome to the big time.
Late on TAM.
I will see you with Dave Bacon tomorrow night. Then it's, of course, the Browns and Steelers after that. Not here, but you'll be able to catch them somewhere. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.